Hello dear student, I am Rajwan Singh and today I am going to teach you geography in for the revision classes. The chapter is weather and climate. My dear student, I have taught this chapter in the class and I am going to revise it, so be concentrate and listen carefully. First of all, we will know about the weather and after that we will know the climate. Weather refers to the day-to-day condition of the atmosphere in an area, or you can say in a particular area for a short period of time with respect to elements like temperature, pressure, humidity, wind, rainfall, sunshine, cloud, cover and etc. Dear student, climate, if we say about climate, then the climate on the other hand is the sum total of the atmospheric conditions of a larger area and over a longer period of time. So dear student, this is climate and weather. We will discuss some major topics on this points. First, temperature. What is temperature? I think you all know about temperature. The sun provides heat and light for all the planets in our solar system, known as solar radiation, and the earth, which is 150 million kilometers away from the sun, receives a teeny share of this solar radiation in the form of short waves that travel through the atmosphere and reach the earth's surface. The amount of solar energy received by the earth is called insolation or incoming solar radiation. Dear student, Earth has been divided into three heat zones: torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zones. We will know about the three zones of the earth. First, torrid zone. What is torrid zone? Dear student, torrid zone is located between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. The places located in this zone receive maximum insolation and the temperature is in temperature zone. Dear student, it lies between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. The places in this zone receive moderate amount of insolation as the rays of the sun are slanting. Hence the temperature are neither too high nor too low. And the third, or you can say the last point of the heat zones is frigid zone. It is between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere. Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere, and the places lying in this zone are the coldest regions of the earth, since they receive minimum insolation of this spot. Dear student, how can we measure the temperature? So let's start the measurement of temperature. First of all, temperature is measured with the help of an instrument known as the thermometer. That you know very well, that doctors also check your temperature, check your body temperature by the thermometer, with the help of thermometer, and it is expressed in units of degrees on the Celsius or Fahrenheit scale. The six maximum and minimum thermometer and thermograph observation to measure the maximum and minimum temperature reached during 24 hours of a day. However, the insolation received by the earth is not the same everywhere. It is said that at every place the temperature will not same, it will change, and it may be minimum on some places and it may be maximum on some places. A variety of factors like latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, prevailing winds, ocean currents and slope affect the temperature on the surface of the earth. Dear student, now we will discuss about the factors that affect the temperature. That factors that affect the temperature on the earth. There are several factors that affect the temperature from one place to another, and first point is latitude. As the earth's surface is curved, you all know very well, and the sun's rays strike at varying angles, there are variations in temperature from the equator to the poles, contingent on the latitude of a place, which determines the angle of the sun's rays, and the duration of the daylight. Dear student, therefore at the equator the rays of the sun are vertical and the duration of the daylight is longer, while at the poles the sun's rays are slanting and the duration of daylight decreases. It decreases slowly. Hence there is a distinct decrease in the temperature, and from the equator to the poles. The rays that strike the equator heat a smaller surface area, and so the heat is more concentrated and temperature are higher than that. The same rays have to hit a large surface area near the higher latitude, which decreases the temperature. And next point, altitude. We will know about altitude. The atmosphere is mainly heated by the temperature prevailing on the earth's surface, and the lower layers of air denser, the lower layers of the air denser are, and they contain more water vapor and dust particles, and so on. Absorb more heat, and they absorb the more heat with the increase in latitude, and the thinner air is unable to hold the same amount of heat because this air is thinner, so this cannot absorb the better heat. So dear student, the rate at which the temperature decreases with increase in highest is known as normal lapse rate. It is generally 1 degree centigrade for every 165 meter of ascent. Therefore, hill stations like Simla, Darjeeling, Dalhousie and etc. are cooler than places situated in the plains. My dear student, this is the main reason that these regions are always cold and then the, or you can say, other places. Distance from the sea. How many distance are the sun from the sea? Water takes more time to absorb insolation and more time to radiate the same heat. Therefore, coastal areas enjoy a moderate and equable climate where some heat is less intense and the winter temperatures are much milder. My dear student, during the day, when the land is warmer, a cool breeze blows from the sea. A cool breeze comes from the sea. And during the day, when the land is warmer, a cool breeze blows from the sea and lowering the temperature. It will make the temperature lower. And in contrast, we can say places away from the sea have an extreme or continental climate, as there is no longer water body to modify and winter colds, or you can say winter colder than in the coastal areas, because here some cold air refreshes and by the coolness of this air the climate becomes very cold than the coastal areas, because the coastal areas are warmer than this. So dear student, this was the distance from the sea and the effect of the distance from the sea and etc. So dear student, we have to know about some winds that they effect on the heats or they effect on the sun rays. Prevailing winds. Onshore winds bring the moderating influence of the sea to land and modify temperatures. In the same way, winds from polar regions lower the temperature drastically, while winds blowing out from hot deserts are hot and which they blow, and so winds always transport the conditions of the places of their region to the land over which they blow. So my dear student, I think you all have understood this chapter. There are some remaining parts that I will explain in the next video. So this is enough for today and we will meet in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.